G'day guys, welcome to PBHQ. This is not PBHQ live. This is actually pre-recorded earlier today. Had some kids that weren't the best last night, a bit unwell, sort of kept us up all night. So pre-recording nice and early to sort of try and get on top of some family stuff tonight here at home. But it is a big week in the lead up to World Cup. So I'm going to be spending most of tonight's show talking about all of the things you're going to see at World Cup. Obviously the games, the new format, but the products, and there's quite a few to talk about. So we're just going to get on with that. Typically, I would introduce myself. I'm Dwayne Nichols, and I would tell you, if you're in the live chat, to drop a comment and let me know who you are and where you're watching from. And that still applies. Wherever you're watching tonight's show from, make sure you drop a comment and let me know who you are and where you're watching. We still have major sponsors of this show each and every week. The major sponsors being PaintballShop.com and Gladiator. PaintballShop.com are doing 15% off Push Unite masks this week. So if you want to go to PaintballShop.com and pick one up, they have a huge range of Unite masks, a huge range of masks altogether, but the Push Unites in particular. Even some of the limited edition colorways are available at PaintballShop.com if you want to save 15% off a Push Unite. PaintballShop.com is the place to do that. The other major sponsor of the show is Gladiator. They are doing a big shout out to the Manawatu Titans, who will be playing in the semi-pro division at World Cup. They've been playing all year over there, representing New Zealand and just our region generally. So best of luck to the Manawatu Titans this week. They've been over in the States since early November, spending a couple of about 10 or 11 days in the lead up to World Cup this time around. So they're preparing the best they can. If you were watching this show last week or the week before, I mentioned that they lost Brad Meads. He has moved on to play pro from their system, now up with the Brooklyn Bears for World Cup. So he won't be there this time around. Hopefully they have their best showing of the year. World Cup does come with double points, so it is the best time to show out and have an event. Let's talk about World Cup. I've got here this little graphic that the NXL have put out. So only 4 days away. Well, it's more like 3 now. Games start early for World Cup. And not only that, but on Wednesday, there will be the new format trialed and tested, which is this, I think they're calling it a 3-7 format, where you can hold the primary bunker on the 50 line of the field to score 3 points, or you can score a full 7 points. I've been through it in detail on a previous show. I'm not going to go into too much detail. That will be on Go Sports. If you want to check it out, there will be a new format trialed, 16 teams in 4 pools of 4 teams. And it's like an aggregate score that gets you through the top team from each pool. I guess I'm interested to see how it plays out. I don't love the format idea. I think it has a few flaws, such as if you score 7 points in the first of the 3 points in the match, if you score 7 points, the maximum in the first one, you can ultra defend and give up that 50 barricade twice in a row, and they score 3 points both times, totaling 6. You win 7-6. So yeah, I just don't. You still win the match, and it just doesn't encourage all of those cool things that we've talked about trying to make paintball exciting. But I'm open to it, interested to see how it plays out. For the pro division, this is how it currently stands after 4 pro events. You can see at the top there, Dynasty winning back-to-back events to begin the year. Tampa Bay Damage going back-to-back at the most recent 2 events. As I mentioned earlier, World Cup comes with double points. Dynasty, it is their series title to lose. The only way they could lose that is if they had a real horrible event. I don't like the double points in this situation. So, for example, Tampa Bay Damage win the event and Dynasty get 10th at World Cup, like Damage got 10th in Texas. Well, Damage will win, and it just doesn't sit right with me to have World Cup be double points. Don't quite get why that is. I know it puts a bit more meaning on it. Not entirely sure. But I guess it does mean that Damage and Heat are probably still a chance of taking out the series title, but realistically, we're looking at a Dynasty series title unless something incredibly goes wrong. And here's another example of why the double points for World Cup might come back to bite someone. Paintball Fit, they've ran the table in semi-pro. 4 wins from 4 events, beating Blast Camp in the final at all 4. One bad event for Paintball Fit, and those guys might miss the pro spot, which will be given up by the Latin Saints. I can't see. Then again, double points. I haven't really looked into it. Yeah, if they manage to jag a decent position for the Latin Saints and the Ironmen, could you imagine if they ran 20th? I guess that is a possibility. Again, seems unlikely. I guess we all have to wait and see. Drop a comment in the chat if you have any pick outside of Dynasty, perhaps, if you think the winner of the event will be someone other than Dynasty, or sorry, of the series. And for the event, if you think it'll be someone other than Damage or Dynasty, the only teams to win pro events this year. Want to talk about the products, and I know that I won't have everything here, but there is a lot of products coming out at World Cup, and I'm covering most of the major ones that I've already seen. And typically the way this works is when I wake up tomorrow, a bunch more companies will have announced a bunch more things. But I think this is the most sort of comprehensive list that I can get together at the moment. Mentioned last week, the Shocker ERA or ERA will be released at Cup. This is a new image that's come out in the last couple of days. Redesigned bolt assembly, improved ergonomics, and an improved compatibility with the Freak kit. So I think personally, this is one of the best looking Shockers. I like the milling. I like the styling on this one. The only thing I don't really like is the back cap. Their back caps have sort of always been something that I've just not quite liked. And I don't know why that is, or why they go the way that they do, but they're coming out $995 US, which will end up somewhere around 1,700 to 1,800 Australian dollars. In that mid to high end market, the Shockers are a pretty big standout there. Yeah, you've got eye covers with screws and a couple of other things that you don't get in the high end guns, but you're also saving a bunch of money. So I think Shocker have got a great spot in the market. It looks like another good market from those guys. Keen to see how they play out. And there will be a few Australians and Kiwis over at World Cup for this one. So hopefully we have ears on the ground and a couple of guys that can get back to us with a few things from the booths over there at World Cup. The other gun related news that is coming out, and this has sort of been known for a couple of weeks now, but these are the best photos that have come out in the last few days, is that the HK Army Orbit 180R, a private label Planet Eclipse 180R with their custom milling. Again, I like the look of these. The HK milling's been hit and miss on the various guns they've done it on, and at this point they've done it on heaps, but I think this is one of the better ones. And the 180Rs, much like the Shockers, in that sort of mid to high range guns, 180Rs, really solid gun. You're not going to go wrong if you want to pick one of them up. And if you want to get a slightly more unique one, well, the Orbit 180R from HK Army will be an option for you. One that I don't know so much about is this, the Force, the Field One Force V2 body cut. They're calling it the body cut, and apparently it's mostly the outsides that are the difference. I've seen a lot of comments of people wanting better ergonomics in their Field One Forces, or better like reliability and a few other bits and pieces with the bolt. I don't know what's happening as far as all of those things are concerned, but I do know, based off seeing Field One's Instagram account, and there's been more stuff going up even as recent as in the last couple of hours, that they do have that new look to them. So check them out if you're a Field One fan. They will be at the Field One booth at World Cup. And Dynasty, Yosh Rouse said that Dynasty will be running those markers at World Cup. Again, I haven't seen a whole lot of detail on them. I guess in the next couple of days, or maybe at World Cup itself, we'll really start to get the detail on those, but that's coming up for this week as well. So that's the Shocker ERA, the Orbit 180R, and the Field One Force V2. MacDev's GT2, they are also releasing custom colorways that I've announced on the show last week and showed some graphics of. So that's another option in the guns. It's nothing, not a new gun at all, but just some new custom colorways. I think Dye are doing some other PGA colorways as well. I've seen the Iron Man talking about that. So I'm not going to go into detail on those. They're not new markers, but yeah, there is a couple of new markers and then others just doing exclusive colorways and limited runs and that type of thing for World Cup. Let's talk some signings for World Cup. Mark Barolo, formerly of Revo, left the team earlier this year around the birth of a child. Missed a couple of events. I think missed the last 2 events and has signed on with the Verst Factory Lodge. So the guys coming over from Europe, one of the teams representing Europe at this event, Mark will be playing with those guys. So a pro, long-time pro too, experience joining on with a European team for this event. And he was able to do that because he missed a certain number of events. The NXL sort of clarified how that would play out. So that's one bit of signing news that's come out in the last handful of days. The other is that Cody Chong will be back with Aftermath. He has previously played on Aftermath. I'm not sure where he's been this season, but he's back to Aftermath for World Cup, adding to their roster for this event. So I think that's nearly everything as far as the on-field stuff, the play test, the European teams coming over, obviously, the double points. It'll all be up on Go Sports. If you're a subscriber, you'll be able to watch all of the action for World Cup on Go Sports. The last 2 things that I had to mention, and both of these are out of the blue and a little bit unexpected as far as World Cup related news, is that a company on Instagram going by Vault Paintball is releasing some hand-constructed 100% leather paintball cleats. They are saying made by players for players. It looks like they've got a lot of the things that people see in Under Armour highlights that they like. I don't know anything about the company. I don't know who's involved, but they will be at World Cup. I'm interested to see how they play out. There's these images on your screen for these colorways. There is also a white colorway if you're looking to get into a pair of these Vault cleats. I guess I'm interested. I've seen Dye do shoes. I have seen Drom do paintball shoes. I have seen maybe did Planet Eclipse dabble in them at one point. A few people have. And HK Army most notably, who had terrible quality with their run of paintball shoes. I think their version 2s were better, but their initial shredders were just renowned for being terrible. But if it were me, with new cleats coming out, I would probably let someone else buy them, watch them play out over the weekend, over the event, maybe over the next couple of training runs, and then pick them up. Best of luck to the guys. I think it's cool that someone's entering that market again. I think it's a case of being once bitten, twice shy when it comes to paintball cleats. It just makes me a little bit nervous seeing how some of the other brands have done. But yeah, best of luck to those guys. They will be at World Cup with a booth as well if you're looking to check them out. And then the last one to mention is that Virtua Paintball has started dropping some teasers. This image is from a teaser they uploaded earlier in the week. They will be dropping this game in the beginning of 2024. You will be able to see them at World Cup. They've got a number of PCs out there for the event. The game will be launching on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all next year. And the quality of this one is probably the best that I've seen I mean, a lot of the paintball games and even smaller devs have gone out and they've been able to make games that look decent, but some of the movement stuff, they've got Marcelo on as like their cover athlete. Yeah, I just think they may be a little more refined from what the little bit that I've seen so far from Virtua Paintball. So I'll definitely be supporting these guys. And the fact that they're advertising that they're going to be available on console will be massive. That gets paintball, whether that's in the PlayStation store or the Xbox store, you get the opportunity to buy a paintball game and play it on a console rather than PC, which PC is obviously limiting for some people. I think that's a really cool idea, and I wish them all the best. Everything that I've seen so far looks good. Keen to see what more comes of it at World Cup. And if you have the opportunity to test an alpha or a beta version at World Cup and you're over there, well, by all means do that and drop some feedback. Let us know what you think. I imagine the guys will be very active on social media this week out there at Cup. So yeah, keen to see how that plays out. And to just wrap up tonight's show, I have to talk about an event that's happening here over the next 3 weeks. The Super Sevens will be running, and this week is the Super Sevens Amateur Division. Let me bring up this little graphic here. There is 8 teams entered. Sunday only event. The draw is online, so if you want to go and check out the draw for the weekend, it has been uploaded in the last couple of hours. The Young Beamers are leading the series. They have had a second, a third, and like a fourth or a fifth in the 3 events prior. Mid-Coast Convicts, the guys pictured here, they have played only 2 of the 3 events and won 1 and got second. They will be there. It is the Young Beamers looking to lock up the series, and because they've played the 3 events rather than the 2, that leaves the Convicts little chance of making a real swing at the series title. But I guess the best ability sometimes is availability, and the guys from the Young Beamers have just been showing up every event, getting a second and a third, so a couple of podiums, and then one a little bit lower result. I think the Berserkers, also from the mid-north coast, with the Convicts, I think those guys are probably the only realistic chance of also taking out the series title. But it all comes down to this weekend at Action Paintball Yarramundi. So best of luck to all the M's teams playing this weekend. Hopefully you're not up all through the night here in Australia watching the World Cup. You want to get to bed nice and early so you're fresh for your games, and then once you're done on Sunday, by all means, stay up all night and watch as we roll through into finals that will be happening Sunday night and Monday morning here in Australia. I think that's everything that I had to mention for tonight. Oh, because this is a pre-recorded show, I do have a giveaway to do this month. Usually I would do it on the first show of the month, being tonight, but because this is pre-recorded, I don't want to do the giveaways on a recorded stream just so that there's any inference that there might be something dodgy going on. So that will be happening next week when the show returns live on Monday. I hope you can join me again next week. Thanks for checking out this unusual pre-recorded edition of PBHQ, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.